Hey YouTube! Results from Guitar Safari last week. So you may have seen this before. I had this in from my pal Chrissy. I looked up the video. It was like 10 months ago, like about a year ago, basically. Just to get it to set it up. I also put a push-pull pot for a phase reverse under the middle tone. And then he must have sold it, and then I ended up getting it back. And it's like I kind of knew that I was going to buy it as soon as I saw it, because I always really liked this guitar. I can't. The original make, I don't think I could make it out. I think it was sharp. Like some of the letters were like like a treble clef, so it wasn't 100% sure exactly what it said. The owner who had it between my pal and I've got it now is had taken off the logo and put their own name on it. So I've removed that. He did leave a sticker there. It just comes off with lighter fluid though, so I'll take that off if you want. I just left it on because it was something. So what we have here is a Strat, but not a normal Strat. This is quite an advanced. It's got quite a few interesting features. Well, maple neck. It's got the dots are in the wrong place. They're on the edge, which I think is just a pretty cool thing. 22 frets, so I don't think it's very normal for a Strat. Humbucker, HSH layout, and most importantly a Floyd Rose. Floyd Roses can be an absolute pig. When I got this back last week, it had been blocked off, so I've set it back up again. This I knew this guitar worked because as I said, I worked on it a year ago. So the Floyd Rose on this is a good one. I'm always against folk buying a Floyd Rose as an early guitar, and I've said before that it's really only expensive ones that work, but it's not really true. If you set it up all right, it works. So this one is set up. It will be fine. The difference, the problem is going to come if you try and put different types of strings on it. These are 10s that are on this, so if you see you put 8s on it, it's all haywire. It needs to be set up again, or if you put 12s on it. So as long as you stick to 10s, and see when you change the strings, change one string, tune it up, change the next string, tune it up, tune it, and do it that way, and it won't go out of tune. Whereas if you just take all the strings off, you've got I can do it because I've done it so many times, but it's kind of difficult because obviously as soon as you take all the strings off, the bridge sits flat against the body, and you've got to pull the bridge back up again, but equally turning all the tuners sort of the same amount. Basically, if you can avoid it, don't do that. Do one string at a time. That's the same for all Floyds. So basically, if you don't know, all a Floyd is basically it's like a Strat trem, apart from in order for the strings not to slip here, you can clamp them at the nut, and because you clamp them at the nut here a little bit, that pushes them all a little bit sharp. So down here you've got a wee tuner on the top here, which you just loosen off a little bit, because when you clamp it, it loses its pitch. So once you've adjusted it, these are fine tuners. Once you're set up, it should basically never really need tuned again. That doesn't really work, but you know what I mean. Because strings do stretch a bit, even ones that have been stretched in. You still need to make slight adjustments. They just, it will stay in tune pretty much most of the time, but just it's not like a pure 100% guarantee that this guitar will be in tune. Because even though the strings can't move, because they're clamped on here and they're clamped on here, if the temperature changes, if it's a cold day like it is just now, and then you tune it up, and then tomorrow you set it in roasting sunlight for a couple of hours, it'll be out of tune. It doesn't matter how expensive your guitar is, that's just metal expands. So, there's an element of, this guitar never goes out of tune. I know folk that have had guitars, my pal's a bass player, used to say, this bass is pure amazing, it never goes out of tune. And it's like, well, the reason it's never really going out of tune is because you played it in the same room. It's like, you're not, if you carry it somewhere, if you're playing in a hot room, then in a cold room, it'll not be in tune. It doesn't matter how good, no guitars can self-tune themselves. One of those Gibson robot ones can, so when you go in, you go prung, and then all the tuners tune themselves. Okay, that might stay in tune. Well, you still got to press a button. So ultimately, I'll just get on with it. So it's got a 5-way switch. These don't coil split, so it's just humbucker in the neck position, humbucker, and then humbucker in middle on its own, middle and humbucker, and then humbucker. And if you're in either of positions 2 or 4, flipping out the tone pot reverses the phase of the middle pickup, giving you really thin sounds. Not sure. The reason I did it for the This guitar, when I did this is last year I put this switch in, was because the guy who owned it had one of the Buckmaster casters that already had coil splits and triple bucker and such things in it, so it didn't have a phase, so this made it do something that another guitar I sold him didn't do. I'm not sure. The phase thing's a funny thing, whether it's any use or not. It'd be really good for, I was talking about it being good for loop pedals and stuff, because I mean there's your, that's position 2, so you get the humbucker in the middle. Just play through my wee laney. Let's do that speaker cabinet, no effects on. So as I was saying about Floyd Rose, even the Floyd Rose does everything that a Strat trem can do, so you can be, you know, sort of Hank Marvin-y. That goes up as well. There's a wee bit of skill in using a trem. I'm not really that good at it. The difference between this and a Strat one is this one goes right down, and you can do all this sort of stupid Steve Vai and, you know, hair metal stuff with it, which you can't really do with a Strat one. See, I'm still not trusting it staying in tune because it's a Floyd Rose, but it is holding tune. I think if you're going to be going absolutely mad, like I think actually the last video I did with this guitar, I went absolutely mad with it, and it kind of held pretty good. I mean, you can't expect it to be any guitar to be 100% if you're being pure stupid. I mean, I was pure lifting it. If you look up the Scharf video in my channel, you'll see I'm pure holding it, lifting the whole guitar up with the tremolo arm and stuff like that, and it still sort of stays in tune. And if it can sort of stay in tune when you're being completely stupid and trying to put it out of tune, then in normal use it'll be fine. So as I said, there's the position 2, which is these two pickups. And if I pull the phase switch out, you get that really thin sort of broken playing down a telephone line type sound. I kind of like it. It gives you quite good as a backing track. It's quite sort of thin and acoustic-y sounding. Middle position. got a humbucker, but I never really think humbuckers sound that good on clean. Wee bit of distortion, and then the humbucker should come into their own. More distortion, rat pedal. Oh, imagine going to the wrong note right at the very last bit there. Yeah, so this is not one that I'm going to sell it because I've really got no use for it, but it's not really going to be that disappointing to keep it. It's a very nice guitar. Not very often you see, I've not even talked about the guitar really. It's got like a veneer top. It's also got a binding, which you don't very often see on a Strat. I think that's the most unusual thing about this guitar. The neck on it is also not really what you would expect. It's a bit more of a sort. I think it's more of a 50s neck as opposed to a 60s neck, so it's a bit more C-shaped and a bit more chunky. I like it though. It suits me for a Strat. When I was playing it at the start, kind of getting a wee bit carried away with myself, just playing because it was sounding so good clean when you're in the middle positions. So to me that is just a Strat. So I'd imagine this is just a modern Chinese guitar. I think you might be able to find it on, I don't know if you'll find it on AliExpress, but you might find it under different makes. It sort of reeks of that a little bit of not actually being built by a specific guitar company, just being an off the shelf type model. But I mean, as you can see, it's holding tune. I wasn't going mental with the tremolo arm. Any more than that, maybe when you start being really stupid. I might do that in a minute actually, just to see how ridiculously over the top the tremolo bar antics are. I mean, when you see I don't know why I keep going to Steve Vai, other tremolo whammy bar abusers. I think they've pretty much got another guitar sitting at the side of the stage. So once they've done their crazy end of the song, going absolutely nuts with put that guitar down, pick up another one, then some roadie tunes the guitar for them. I don't think you'd see somebody going absolutely nuts on the whammy at the end of the first song of your set and then just continuing. You really need to run it. You really need to run it through some sort of tuner. But really, I've got not really any faults with this. I guess my fault would be a little bit. If I was looking at this guitar, just a picture of it, I see super Strat. So you got Floyd Rose, you get the humbuckers. I would expect a really thin shredder neck, which this isn't. This is much more a sort of chunky Strat neck. I mean, it's still nice. I mean, I think there's an awful lot of I remember when I started playing the guitar, people say, "Oh, you want a nice thin neck for learning on?" I don't think you really need. Thin necks are you get more tired. Sometimes it's better just having a bit more chunk. I mean, it's by no means a chunky neck compared to what comes in. Falcon's not on the wall anymore. On a lot of on a lot of Les Pauls and a lot of guitars I've got, it's just not what you would necessarily expect on this neck on a Telecaster. You would just go, yep, it's a great tele neck. It's just when you put it on a sort of super Strat, it seems like it was a strange choice to make. It almost sits about like a. In fact, do you know what it's kind of? It reminds me of, see if you get like a custom shop model, like when folk get signed on by Fender, and it's like pure, yeah, we can have your what we're going to do a signature guitar for you. What is it you want? And you can't change too much. And it's like, this is the sort of thing I can see people going, oh, well, I just want a Strat, but stick a Floyd Rose in it, humbuckers, and a bound top, and it's enough to be a signature model for somebody. I don't know who it is. It just has that, unless it's a copy. Maybe it's a copy of somebody's Fender custom shop model. They've stolen the idea. Because it just seems a strange thing. I think it does look fantastic though. Really much different. Normally when you see a Floyd Rose, you just expect to see it on like a super strat, which is more the shape of the things that moved about. More, you know, a sort of, well, that's kind of not really that unstratty. I'm really thinking more, you know, a sort of more pointy one. You would expect to see it on, whereas this is much more traditional, sort of traditional modern. It's actually got a wee bit of Schecter-y. If you look at him, I've went through a stage, I've been mad into the original American Schecter guitars, and they a lot of them kind of look sort of this idea. You know, you would maybe get a bound top and a strange bridge and stuff. It's also got a proper Fender shaped headstock, which is nice. I mean, it's not. I would certainly never put a Fender logo on it. If I bought this as my for myself, I'd maybe put my own name on it, or put a Black Sabbath sticker on it or something. I wouldn't put a Fender one on it, but a lot of people would. I don't think this is not the sort of guitar you would pass off as being a Fender. I don't think though, because it's got the strange layout and the bound top. And it plays lovely. Actually, the reason I never bought this off my pal when as I said, it was like, I don't know, 9-10 months ago or whatever it was. I think it was last September or October that I had it in for a setup. A couple of months after that, my pal was like, do you want to buy a guitar? And the problem was I didn't want to buy it cheap and sell it, which is kind of what I've ended up doing now. But so I wanted him to get the money of what it was sort of worth. But also, there's not really much I could do with it because it's far too nice to be a Buckycaster. And upgrade wise, it's already got a couple of humbuckers in it. It's pretty much fine. It's pretty much perfect the way it is. You know, putting a phase switch just so I did something. It's kind of all I think this guitar needs. Originally, when I had it before, if you look at the previous video, he had a black sticker which is looked like carbon fibre stuck on the scratch plate, and I think it looks better in white. I think this is still the same scratch plate. It's just that the last owner has peeled off the carbon fibre. So interesting guitar. I want to sell it, but I don't want to sell it cheap because it's good. So kind of it's a difficult one. So if you're thinking of buying a guitar that's you're not mad into the spiky guitars, and you quite fancy the idea of a Floyd Rose that holds tune a hell of a lot better than any Strat trem does. Well, not any Strat trem, but any sort of normal Strat trem, it holds better than. And it plays absolutely lovely. Again, I said before about if you're a beginner guitar, because I will be selling it at a sort of beginner guitar price, you'll be fine as long as you're just careful with keeping it in tune and don't take all the strings off and don't adjust anything on the Floyd Rose, because as well, there is a back, but I've got it off because I was setting up. Don't adjust any of that stuff, and if you're going to, when it comes to change strings, do one at a time. It should be fine. I'm just going back to my first guitar, electric guitar. Well, the first one that worked was a Yamaha RGX321P, and it had a Floyd Rose, and at the time I didn't even know there was such a thing as concert pitch tuning, so the bridge was I was either sitting up at 45 degrees or sunk right into the body, and it kind of put me off. It didn't put me off guitar, but when I moved on to my Epiphone that had a hardtail or like a tune-o-matic bridge, this is so easy. Why don't all guitars just have something simple rather than having this monster? Which when it's set up is fine. And it boils down to even really, really expensive guitars with Floyd Roses. You know, you pay £2,000 for one, you still have that thing where if you take all the strings off, it's gone. Or if you change string gauge, ever needs set up, it still does. I mean, it's not like if you buy I've actually got one of my guitars. It's got a Gotoh Floyd Rose in it, my Washburn Hawk, because the one that was in it disintegrated. I got a Gotoh that was in a project guitar years ago, and that thing cost 180 quid to buy. I didn't buy it. It came in a guitar, but and yes, looking at it, it's this is really, it feels more expensive. It just looks, when you look at it, it looks more precise and stuff. But it doesn't perform any better than this one. Or if it does perform, it's a small percentage better. Not if you're paying 180 quid for just a tremolo. I've talked for 26 minutes. Rock on, and maybe buy this guitar. I don't know if you want to shoot me an offer for it, or want to swap it for something. And as I said, with the way the wiring's set up, I kind of like it the way it is. I would possibly consider putting a coil split in, which would give you the single coil in the neck and the bridge. I'd imagine the reason I didn't do that before was partly because I'd probably have to take the pickups to bits. And when you start taking the pickups to bits and stuff like that, it takes a couple of hours, and I don't want to do it for free. Because the middle three sound great for strat. And the outside two, not so good for clean strat, but amazing for first pedal. So I suppose I'll try and put it in a tune by being stupid then, will I? See, doing that sort of thing you can't really expect it to stay tuned. That's still in tune. Now it's going. Maybe not 100% in tune, but it's pretty staying in enough. Yeah, some crazy noises. Rock on, everyone!